Welcome to Discover East County, where we walk the paths of hardworking folks who share the stories of their lives and businesses. I'm your host, Valli, and today my guest is Scott Goergens. You are the superintendent of the Lakeside Union School District. Thank
I
you for being
am.
here.
Absolutely.
So, Scott, we kind of talked a little bit off camera that you are, quite a fan favorite with the kids in Lakeside. I'm sure you've seen them grow up from elementary school. You were the principal at Lakeside Farms,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and then principal at TDS
Mm-hmm.
and El Capitan, and now you are having this role as the superintendent. And I think it's really important that people know that you didn't just get hired from the outside, but you've been in our district caring for these families and these kids for decades. So I want to talk a little bit about your new role and your new position as a superintendent,
Mm-hmm.
what that means to you, and then what your goals are for the future of Lakeside.
So thank you very much for having me on. Grew up in East County, went to W.D. Hall, Montgomery and Middle School, and Granite Hills High School. Chose education as a path and worked several school districts in the before and after school care program. Wanted to be a teacher and got my teaching credential. Taught seventh grade up in Alpine at Joe McQueen.
Oh, wow.
And through happenstance, ended up coming to Lakeside. Lakeside's one of those kind of funny communities when you're on the outside. The only time I'd really been to Lakeside is when we played basketball games for Granite Hills against
Yeah.
El Cap. Immediately fell in love with the district. I was hired as the assistant principal at Lakeside Middle School, and just said, so much community pride, such a unique community, such a great place. Like you said, I'm old, so I've been around for a lot of schools and a lot of places. So went to actually my first principalship as an interim principal was at Lindo Park Elementary
Oh,
School, and then got the Lakeside Farms position. Was there for 7 years. Transitioned over to Tierra del Sol, back to my middle school roots. Actually left the district for 8 years.
oh,
Went to Cajon Valley, where I was a principal at Los Coches Creek, and then back to El Capitan. And never a plan, no grand plan of moving to all three levels or of switching districts or anything like that. Things just kind of happen, and I wouldn't change anything, quite honestly. You mentioned the students. So my first year at El Cap, my seniors, if they had gone to Lakeside Farms, I was their principal from kindergarten to fourth grade.
mm,
And it was just so cool to reconnect with them. It's funny because the difference in the adult student relationships, elementary school, like you said, all you have to do is be an adult and walk on campus, and they mob you and they think you're the greatest thing ever if you say hi to them. Middle school, still a lot of communication, but they're turning more towards their peers.
mm-hmm.
High school kids, like, you'll know a kid forever and they'll just walk right by you, and I think it's normal because talking to the teachers and the principal isn't really a cool thing in
Yeah.
high school. But for me, getting a chance to work with these families that I've known forever, I've had several students that I was their kindergarten principal, so the first day of school, their sixth grade principal, first day of middle school, and then their freshman year principal. And I always apologize to them. I say, guys, the jokes don't get any better.
Yeah.
It's the same rollout. So, truthfully, I live in Crest, and when I was at Los Coches Creek, I absolutely loved that school. It was a fantastic school. I didn't see myself leaving that school. When El Capitan opened up, my main motivation was, prior to Laura Whitaker was an amazing principal at El Cap. She was there for 9 years, did great things there. Prior to that, there had been a series of 1 to 2 year principals. And I saw, as an educator in the community, what that transition and what not having the stability in the leadership, what it did, because the perception in the community was, oh, I don't know if I'm going to send my family to El Capitan. We're looking at other high schools around. And Laura really changed that and brought some stability. And so I threw my hat in the ring, quite honestly, not knowing a ton about high school,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's the same title, it's a very different job. Um, and I absolutely loved it. And I knew that, I'm not the best principal in the world, but I knew I loved my community, and I knew I would do everything I can to support the students at that school. Real similar, Dr. Rhonda Taylor, who was one of my teachers we worked together at Lakeside Farms. She was the superintendent in Lakeside. Again, kind of some reparations after a couple of small tenures with superintendents, things like
Mm-hmm.
that. And she did an amazing job, pointing the needle in the right direction, getting everybody rowing in the same direction, stabilizing the district. And when she was retiring, which she retired last year, The only reason I put my I love being at El Capitan. I
Hmm.
could see myself staying there forever, and I do miss being with kids on a day-to-day basis. That's why we become educators. But I knew that I would go in and love on my community and do everything I can in my power to support Lakeside and support the family. So that was my decision to go for the superintendency. And it's almost been a year now, and it's been just a whirlwind. I absolutely love this position, getting a chance to, oversee 9 schools and work with the principals and the teachers and the staffs and everything. It's been fantastic.
I think it's important that you also know, I know that you enjoy your role as an educator in our community, but it's important that you know that the kids enjoy your presence as well. It's an equal share of that because one of the decisions that we made as personally as a family to send my son to LCC was that I knew you were the principal there, and I felt like he would be taken care of, seen. I could trust that the programs were going to be good. I could trust that if something were to go on, that I had somebody I could reach out to.
Hmm.
So, and we didn't really personally know each other. I just knew through people that you were somebody that we could trust and
Hmm.
enjoyed your job, which I think meant that the kids got the best of you, and it showed, and it reflected in our personal choices. I do also want to touch on kind of like you said, Lakeside's kind of this funny small community. There's so much pride there. I want to talk about a little bit of what Lakeside schools offer
Hmm.
that other schools necessarily nearby maybe don't have the reach for. Can you touch on
Sure.
those programs?
Absolutely. National or statewide in the state of California, 75,000 less public school students across the state, which is creating financial hardship. That's how districts, are able to get their
Mm.
operating monies are through student attendance and student enrollment. Lakeside, we have not dipped in our enrollment.
Oh.
We've actually we're one of the few we're not gaining enrollment at the pace that I'm hoping we will, but we're not declining
Mm.
either. I think that's a combination of a couple of things. There's so many different places for people to educate their children. And first of all, I really appreciate your kind comments. That really touches me. Um, we are filled with our schools are safe, loving places for our students, and the families feel that from the time they walk into the office and meet our office staffs.
Hmm.
They're welcoming, they're safe, there's pride in the schools. There's a lot of effort to help our students be connected and things like that. And so that's what you'll find at every single Lakeside school is a warm place of dedicated professionals that are committed to doing great things for
Hmm.
students. That being said, going back about 20 years, Dr. Halfaker, the superintendent at the time, met with some community members and developed our immersion pathway. And that has been instrumental. The county office superintendent, San Diego County Office of Education superintendent, he lived in Del Mar. He drove his kids out to Lakeside every day, specifically to get the Spanish and Mandarin language instruction that we
Hmm.
offered. And so being part of that program, being in Lakeside District when it started, seeing it in the middle school, working with Dr. Hardiman at Tierra del Sol, who brought the Mandarin program and worked really hard there, and then seeing the students flourish at El Capitan, where they are. It was funny when I started at El Cap. I was looking, I started reaching out to colleges and universities about, okay, if a student goes through with a certain GPA and sticks with the program, will they guarantee admission?
Hmm.
And actually was running into some walls. The colleges are, as they should be, are very cautious about
Mm.
offering guarantees of admission and things like that. What I found was our kids don't need it. We have kids getting into Oxford, Stanford,
Hmm.
UCLA, all the UC schools, Georgetown, Vanderbilt. Our immersion students are truly amazing, and like I said, we offer something that is really rare, and that's subject level instruction. So when I took Spanish, assuming most of us took Spanish,
Hmm.
it was learning about the vocabulary. That's definitely part of the program. These kids are learning about subject areas and
Hmm.
cultural competency in their
Oh, wow.
classes.
Interesting.
And yeah, and it's not going to be not going to lie to you. It's very hard to find the talent. And being one of the first districts in the county that was offering that program, we have a sustainable program. A lot of districts have tried because they've seen the success. It's hard to find really awesome qualified teachers that know the vision and know everything. So having this stable program has been something Lakeside's been well known for. Um, we've also had a really great run this year of our schools applying for and receiving recognitions for different awards. Two of our schools, Lakeside Farms and Tierra del Sol, earned Purple Heart, I believe it's called. It's specifically the supports that we have for our military
Mm-hmm.
families. Lakeside, as you well know, has a large military contingency with military housing and things of that nature, as does San Diego. 10% of our students roughly are military connected,
Mm-hmm.
and we know their struggles. And by that, what I mean is a lot of these kids every year they're going to a different
Yeah.
school, they're having to uproot their families, they're dealing with parents on deployment and the issues that presents itself. And so we have fantastic supports at a lot of our schools, and two have been recognized. Tierra del Sol recently recognized for a Green Ribbon School for sustainability practices. Um, our robotics team at one of our middle schools, it's the only middle school robotics team that made it to the World Championships. They're actually there right
That's
now
so
in St.
cool.
Louis. Just a lot of great programs, a lot of innovation. And like I said, it really all stems from people that are committed to doing everything we can for our
Mm-hmm.
students. And we're really proud of our schools. So the safety, the welcoming nature, the high level academics, the immersion programs, and the continuous doing what we can to present great opportunities for our students. Our latest kind of venture that we're really focused on is a workforce development.
Ooh.
And what that looks like is partnering with the Chamber of Commerce
Mm-hmm.
and local businesses. And then the electives at our middle schools at Dream Academy, which is another amazing school that we have in our district that's a project-based learning school, TDS and LMS. We've got the amazing traditional electives, the band, the art, all
Mm-hmm.
the great things like that. But then we have some career focused electives as well. The principals have visited El Capitan and Santana, where a majority of our students matriculate, and they're looking to align their offerings so that students in middle school will start taking surveys, finding out their interests, things of
Mm-hmm.
that nature, and then being able to take courses that foster that interest, and all the way through high school. And then, whether their pathway is college or career, honestly, as their principal, I just want them to find a great career and
Mm-hmm.
enjoy what they do and look forward to getting up and going to work every day.
Mm-hmm.
And if that requires 4 years of college or even longer, that's awesome. That's that kid's journey. Several of our students, they go into, for example, at El Capitan, the ag program,
Mm-hmm.
they'll get into welding or floral design or things like that. They'll go right into the workforce right out of high school. And
Yeah.
those are awesome too. Those are huge successes.
One of the funniest things that happened to me is I was volunteering coaching basketball with Darren,
Hmm.
and we had a fourth grade group of girls. And I'm out there coaching basketball, and they start speaking in Mandarin fluently
You're like,
to
what's
each other.
happening? Yeah.
And I say, "Wait a minute, what?" And
Yeah.
so they start. I said, and they start speaking again. And I'm like, "There is no way at fourth grade that you are speaking this fluently in Mandarin. It's
Yeah.
insane. It's really good."
It's truly. I got to go as a principal at Tierra del Sol. Got to go to China with a group about 15 kids from I think fifth to eighth grade, and everywhere we went, we were rock stars
Yeah,
because no one could believe the kids could speak like that. They're
yeah,
looking at them and they're like, how?
yeah.
The kids are absolutely amazing, and that's again parents that had the foresight to give their children that gift of bilingual and
Hmm.
trilingualism, and amazing teachers that are able to support the kids with their learning.
Speaking of, I want to know your vision for Lakeside and how your role can influence that vision moving forward into the future.
So, real similar to when you first year as a principal, which I've had several first years. Like I said, I'm an old man and getting a chance to go around and do these. Year one is really getting to know the players and getting to know your school community. Even though Lakeside Middle School, very different from Tierra del Sol,
Hmm.
very different from Los Coches Creek, obviously a different district. Year one is really getting to see the climate, the teachers that are super creative and doing amazing things. My job is to support them. My
Hmm.
job is to put a magnifying glass and kind of a spotlight on them where they can share their story and their vision and get other people on board. And so that's what I'm looking to do in this district is getting an opportunity. Nothing's happening at the district office. My goal is never to be in my office. My
Hmm.
goal is to be on the campuses, talking to the students, finding out what they're passionate about, talking to the administrators, talking to the teachers, and then being able to support. So I would say that my real goal is getting to know the programs that we have,
Hmm.
and then what can we do to keep making those better. It's kind of that continuous improvement.
Hmm.
One of my favorite quotes is by Roy Rogers, actually. Even if you're on the right track, if you stay there, you're going to get run over. And that's been a motto I've always had is let's find what the right track is, let's get on it, and then how do we continue to progress.
Ooh, I love that.
Thank you.
I want to personally thank you for all your contributions to Lakeside, and you've touched a lot of families, and it really doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you so much for what you've done. Also, thank you for being here and sharing your story. I
Of
can't wait to see
course.
how Lakeside grows. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the time.
All right. Thank you guys for watching Discover East County. We will see you next time.